welcome to the I Am Infinite Love Breathwork class. And we'll talk about that name later as well. But, from actually the gallery reading that we were at, I was like, oh, it might be helpful to say a little bit of my story, because I didn't do that last time.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And then it gives a little bit more background and perspective on where I'm coming from with this. So a good place to start is in around 2013, I became a manager at where I was working. And I was working in quality assurance. And by this point, for reasons, I'd been powerfully, motivated to try and figure out how to make better environments, how to create, places where people could be happy and live productively. And the biggest, one of the biggest places that I saw that was a drain was the business place, the workspace. And so I started really diving into leadership because I wanted to know how to effectively run my team. And the more that I got into it, the more that I saw in there. And over time, I just started devouring information about it. And at this time, I wasn't really spiritually aware or in tune. I had I wasn't really involved with that. And so over time, I had built up this knowledge about how people work in groups and how they communicate. And from my studies and from my firsthand experience. And I started to be able to not physically see, but to notice how energy flowed through systems involving people. And that was kind of my first exposure to energy. And it came from, this non-spiritual business angle. And it was interesting. And I built this huge, what I call now an external construction of, here's how, if I were to build this company that was going to do all these things that I want to help the world, here's, all this stuff. And it was huge. It was massive. And it was so much, it was too much. And in this process of pursuing this, I channeled my first writing that I can look back on as I was channeled. And it was this entire huge external construction that I made collapsed down to a few paragraphs because it was the pattern at the heart of it. Soon after that, I had a spiritual experience that was very disruptive and very challenging for my family. And looking back on it now, from how I understand it at this point, it was Spirit saying, okay, you have an idea, but you don't know how to get there, and you don't have the skills. Imploded, and then start from zero, because I basically, all of my, everything that I had invested myself into was wiped out. And then I was able to start my spiritual path, which started with a trickle and then started to gain more and more ground. And when I was partway through that, my spiritual path is when I started to get into meditation. And at some point, when I was going through A Course in Miracles, because this is where I originally attributed the quote to, I came across this teaching that was, let every in-breath be thank you, and let every out-breath be I love you. And that struck me as such a powerful idea. Every single breath. What if every breath was that? Was thanking, and then love, and then thank, and then love. And I really was magnetized to it in a big, big way. And so I started to explore that in my meditations. And the more that I would explore, the more would come through, and the more I would heal, and the more I would learn. And it ended up really just increasing my intuition like crazy. It really put me in touch with a lot of that stuff, which, I still feel in my weird way oddly blind to a lot of the detail, a lot of the depth or texture of energy and all this stuff. I can't really feel different energies, I just feel energy. And so, where was I going with that part of it? Whatever. So, and then I continued to develop this, and more breaths came over time, and there's some of these extra breaths on the back, and we'll talk about those eventually. And each new breath would come in at a time that breath specifically was there to help me heal or process something. And then, it would kind of fall away, and then I would return back to the thanks, love breath. More would come. And eventually, I got the push from Spirit in many different ways. I got to start putting this out there. So, made a website, made a channel. Mara helped me realize that it would be good to make a book. So I started there. Now we're here. So it's interesting to me because, I've made a tremendous amount of progress on my spiritual journey, but one thing I have noticed, it feels I have a little bit of experience with is dealing with energy and feeling it and seeing it. And even though I have that weird lack of sensitivity to different kinds of energy, I can still do a lot with it. So that's a little bit of my background and how I got to this point. Now, I'm going to ask here, are you guys meditators? What's your kind of proficiency with that?
I try to. I have done it. And I want to do more. Is why I'm here, actually.
Yeah.
But it's just, for some reason, I can't get myself to just sit there and do it.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just like doing it. But I've done it, and I'm pretty good at like closing everything out, and Reiki's helping me with that too.
Okay, perfect.
So, well, I kind of talked to you about it. So meditation, same. So we've done guided meditation, so I feel comfortable enough to do that where I can relax and a lot of things happen for me. I've done some on my own at home, but my meditation comes with music and movement. And it's hard to explain, but it's like everything shuts out and then things come in. And also thanks to a book you recommended, I've been doing a lot more writing, which has been great because I know I'm supposed to write a book. I have a lot of things already written, but I just keep getting this block. So I feel like if I can maybe practice on maybe going a little bit more quiet and not so music and movement, maybe other things will come through. Because when I have the guided meditations, deeper things start happening. So I need to I'm very good with setting myself a routine, because what I was doing a year ago, I was consistently doing every single day. And there's been such a huge shift that now I'm kind of trying to find, like, what is my thing? So I practiced so after I watched the video, I practiced some of the, all of the thank you, breathing out love you, and really trying to focus on, what you're feeling. And what helped me a lot was, what do I feel when I'm so thankful? Well, so many amazing, beautiful things have been happening, so I'm focusing on those, and then I feel that thank you, I'm just thanking. And then being able to just send it back out, it's it's amazing. And I haven't done it like enough, but
You're
but
starting
then-
to get a feel for it.
Yes, and then like times when I'll be so over the top energized, because sometimes Reiki does that to me, and when I know I'm supposed to be doing something, I just follow it, and I get she knows, I get just all over the place. So to bring myself back down, I usually work on my own breath work, but I've been adding the thank you and love you, and it's almost like when I have that extra focus, there's nothing else that comes in, and then I'm able to really feel. So that's been really exciting.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I want to go deeper too. I just haven't got that far yet.
Sounds good.
Quick question.
Yes.
When you go internal, it turns into a musical in there?
Well,
Or it's
I have
out here.
music. I listen to music,
Okay.
and the music I have, especially
Broadway
specific ones
show
come
when you
in.
meditate.
Wouldn't that be cool? Well,
Sorry.
so I was telling Andrew there was a specific song when I was doing some of my breath work and stretching that came in that's got so much movement, and then all of a sudden my body will just start move, and it'll just move, and then things come in that way. So I don't know if that's like a meditation, because it's
Yes, it is. And it's also, it's very similar to a lot of shamanic activities. And, they do a lot of dance and to music and stuff like that.
The
So,
dervishes were, that was all movement oriented.
what are they called?
dervish.
The whirling dervishes.
I don't think I've heard of that.
Literally, it's Tibetan, I think. Music that is slower than the resting heartbeat, 60 beats per minute, is a sedative. Music that is higher than 80 beats a minute is stimulating. So depending on what you want to have happen, if you are sluggish and need movement to happen, get the peppier music and that'll get something going. However, if you need to be grounded, slower than that.
Yes, and that's
resting
interesting
heart
you
rate.
say that, because I've had both experiences with different, slower, faster.
Mhm.
I didn't realize.
You-
Those,
it's-
like different things happen.
It's like a mixing board. You need more of this in your life,
Mm,
you just add the things into the mixing board,
right.
and that's just one of them.
Oh, thank you for that.
So as we get into this, and kind of on that same note, I just want to mention that this practice is a highly intuitive practice, and I think it's best that each person, as they get into it, they explore it according to what comes to them and where their intuition goes. I described some steps, but it's just how I learned it. And it's not like it's just this one thing set in stone. So as you explore it, as you have your experiences, as your intuition comes, flow with it. Don't worry about, am I doing it right? This isn't really a rigid thing. So take whatever works for you. I think you've all heard me read the introduction to meditation out of here that was on the last video. So I'm not sure that's necessary.
You should. I think you should.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
it's a refresher, just because I
This
read
is
it
a
doesn't mean I
practice
remember
class.
everything. Yeah.
Hey, I'm
This
down.
is pretend there's another 10
I just didn't
people.
want to waste you guys' time, that's all.
You do your thing,
We got
Andy.
2 hours.
Yes.
All
We
right.
have plenty of time.
Introduction to meditation. Meditation is a way to practice focusing on your internal world. People at this time are largely consumed by their thoughts. It is a constant barrage that leaves little opportunity to listen to anything else. This experience is very similar to being in a large, noisy area, such as a gathering or event, one that has people talking and music playing in the background. Now imagine trying to listen to an important video or call on your phone in that large, noisy space. It would be extremely difficult to hear anything at all, and you would want to listen again in a quieter space to make sure you didn't miss anything. The large, noisy area is the external world, and our minds chatter about it. The important message on your phone is Source trying to speak to you through your internal connection. While the constant mind chatter is present, it's difficult to hear any messages at all, let alone important ones. Meditation is creating a quiet space within your body and awareness so that you can receive the messages that are being sent to you. I struggled with understanding meditation when I first began. Our awareness is so used to being in our mind that it can be an unfamiliar process for most of us to place it anywhere else. While you practice step 1, you will be placing your attention within your heart space. As you focus your awareness on the center of your chest and bear witness to everything that happens there, it pulls your awareness out of your mind. As you practice this, you will begin to feel your mental chatter lessen, and you will become more aware of the energy that is constantly flowing through your body. Staying focused on the energy flowing through your heart space has many benefits that will unfold as you deepen your practice. Just know that it won't come instantly. It may be difficult at first to stay focused, and that's okay. If your mind wanders, don't get down on yourself. Accept that it happened. Know that it is simply part of your journey, and consciously return your focus to your heart. And the funny thing that I don't mention in that paragraph or that section, and I need to add in there, is the other reason for meditation is to feel your internal body, not only to receive messages, because that's also what we're here to do, is to get in tune with the energy inside our bodies. And when you are in that quiet space, it's the same principle, creating the quiet space so that you can go internally. You can feel all that much more. Okay. The breath. I think, yeah, let's cover this too. So the breath. During this practice, I have found it helpful to breathe as slowly as you comfortably can. Any pace will still work, so whatever you are able to do is perfect. As you breathe in, hold the words "thank you" in your mind while focusing your attention on your heart space. Well, this is just getting into step 1. Well, let's read it anyways. By doing this, you are in essence thanking your heart space for everything that it does. This opens your heart and allows more love to flow through you each time you practice. Don't think about things that you are grateful for yet. You can, obviously, if your intuition is leading you there. But as you're initially practicing, it says at this stage it would pull your attention away from your body and back into your mind. Simply keep the focus of your attention within your heart space while breathing and holding the words "thank you" in your mind. The same process applies to breathing out. As you breathe out, hold the words "I love you" in your mind while focusing your attention on your heart space. By doing this, you are sending love to your heart. Holding the words in your mind allows your mind to be occupied but not active. This will reduce the amount that your mind wanders and help you not to get lost in thought. Witnessing the heart space is what you actively want to focus on. This pulls your attention out of your mind and into your body. Moreover, this is how you start feeling the energy flowing through you. To witness the heart space is to be aware of everything that happens within that space, taking in as much as possible while interfering as little as possible. This is a practice of listening. Thoughts and judgments are the equivalent of speaking, so they are interference while listening. It took me a long time to learn how to listen consistently. So, do you guys have any question about that information so far? Any questions? Okay.
Is the purpose of the words, like, I think you just said this, I want to make sure I got it right.
It's okay.
To focus on your breathing and your heart instead of your mind wandering?
Close. Yeah. So the focus of the words is to partially help shape your thought. But the main thing is to, if you hold the words in your mind, it's something for your mind to do and something for your mind to latch onto. So it's not just asking it to do nothing. Because if you're just like, oh, I'm going to meditate, mind, do nothing. It's really hard to do that for a lot of people, and especially without practice. So you can give it a bone, say, hold on to this. And so you hold on to those words in your mind. But the goal, the ultimate goal, is to feel the energy of what's behind the words. Because love itself is, we have lots of different definitions. There's, romantic love. There's, I guess, platonic for just easy contrast. But there's lots of different definitions. But in my opinion, there's also an energetic definition of love. And to love energetically is to provide the energy of love. And to provide the energy of love, as we are constantly emitting the energy of whatever our emotions are at any given time. So if you are angry, you're emitting the energy of anger. If you are anxious, you're emitting the energy of anxiety. And this can, kind of be felt or noticed if you are around someone who is really affected. They can start to affect you too. And so love is also a wavelength, a frequency. It has an energetic signature. And you can hold on to that energetic signature and hold it in your heart, because it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't run out. And so to love energetically is to be broadcasting love energetically.
Right.
I tried to come up with, a better definition, but it sounds lame. But it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean,
Well,
you can feel that too.
We are radios, and we emit energy. So which station are you emitting on?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I
And
What
so-
station we got on?
I know. I get
So-
so annoyed sometimes, and I'm like, I'm trying not to be annoyed. Okay, and then because I watched first half of your video, I'm like, thank you, I love you, thank you, I love you, and then I'm like, I can't do it. So
Fair enough.
I
So
wonder if you got playful with it though, instead of like,
yeah,
I have to do this very best possible.
how do I not be annoyed right now? I'm a sister.
well, and we can talk about some of that, because a lot of it, in my opinion, is a lot of what's helpful is the ability to change your perspective on things. And if you can do that, and especially while doing the Thanks Love breath, you can kind of merge those together. And I've found that, almost no matter what's happening, or in any even crazy difficult situation or whatever, I can, because of all the work I've done, be like, okay, well, I know that there's a reason for what's happening. I know that everyone involved is going through this for a reason. And even if it's not directly involving me, or if I'm the primary person that the reason is for, because, it could be that the other person needs to process something. And so it's like, even if I don't understand what's going on, I can be thankful for this situation, because I know that what's happening now is the best for the unfolding, the best for where we're trying to get to. Okay.
Well, when you were talking, I told you I get pictures in my head. As you were saying, just contemplate thank you, and we talk a lot about different things. What is the texture of thank you? What is the taste of thank you? What is the smell of thank you? So if you put it in your mouth, what would that be like if you give it as much breadth and depth to just, so if you're like trying not to be annoyed by it, well, just become curious instead. And what happens? Okay, so if I were to hear a song that sounded like thank you, what would it sound like? If I were to hear or smell or taste or touch. I do mental exercises like that because I'm elderly hyperactive, and I have like squirrel. So if I give it more things to do, my brain, and then my body will just sit. So like, it's holding the energy of thank you, but my brain is doing things with it. And the more I just sit with that, the more dimension I seem to get out of it. So, I don't know if that helps.
And as you get in touch with the energies of thanks and love, it's easier to get into it when you're in a difficult spot. Because it's like, oh, okay, well, I know what that feels like, and I know where to go and how to get there a little bit better. So as you practice it more, I do think it will become easier. And again, don't get down on yourself. It's all.
I had something to learn.
Yep.
I do really like the whole point of me coming and doing this because I do want to be able to like change my energy around people. Even if I'm in a mood, I don't want that to affect other people. So I think just being aware of my energy and changing it when I can, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so what I like to do is to do a little bit of the meditation, and then we'll come back out, and then we'll talk more about it, and especially if you've gotten the feeling of the energy, and then we'll maybe cover a little bit more, and then do another meditation that's a little bit longer later.
Okay.
So let's cover step one. This is fresh. This is not how it's written in the videos or on the website. This is how it's written in the book. So let me know what you think of this instruction, because it's the first time it's really been shared and used. So step one, while meditating, breathe in and out as slowly as you can comfortably. The interesting thing about this is that it's a variable pace, and that's by intentional design. Sometimes you won't be able to breathe as slowly as others, and that's okay. And it's just whatever's comfortable. But I have noticed that the slower that I breathe, the more you can feel the change, the energy inside. Hold the words thank you in your mind while breathing in. Hold the words I love you in your mind while breathing out. Place your awareness on your heart chakra in the center of your chest. Be a witness to everything that happens there as you breathe. Notice everything within this space. Take it in without judgment. Your physical body and how it feels, the feeling of aliveness within each cell, and any other sensations that appear within your awareness. Feeling and becoming aware of all these sensations is the same process as feeling your energy. It is becoming aware of how your energy feels as it changes while you breathe. Just be aware of it. Take it all in. Repeat this practice until you can easily feel this energy. So, that is the goal behind step one, is to just starting to get in tune with that.
I have a question.
Yes, absolutely.
No, not yours. So when you say thank you and then when you say love you, do you just say like thank you once? Do you say thank you, thank you, thank you? Or like how do you do it?
I say it once with each breath.
Okay,
So thank you. So it's hard to say
It's hard to say it out
while you're
loud.
breathing in.
I know.
Use
So-
your hands as a breath while you say the word.
So, yeah.
There you go. That's a good way.
Well,
Well, just so that we can see
I'll-
what you're talking about.
yeah. But it's like I'm trying to like describe the cadence as well. So I'll breathe and I'll use my hands to say the words.
Oh, I like it. Okay, that
So
works.
which didn't do anything. So it's what I mean is I
So
was
as
just
you
going
breathe
as
in,
I
it's like,
breath.
Thank
Yeah, it's thank you.
Yeah, it's usually I'll go with the breath in just once. I go
Yeah,
I
so it's like,
love
Thank you.
as I'm breathing
Oh,
out.
I get what you're saying.
I
You
love
can't, you
you.
can't talk and breathe at the same
Yeah.
time.
See, now
Yeah.
I know why this is difficult. That was a good challenge for me.
Yeah, I was just like, how do
How do I
I
explain that?
convey this? Perfect question.
So I'm thinking like I just say thank you and then it's just breathing.
Yeah, there you
Yep.
go.
And then you just kind of like that.
Yep. So let's give it a shot, and then we can talk about how it felt and if it worked.
A little bit, would that be okay?
I am so okay with that. Would we be able to dim the lights some?
It's not a real dimmer, but I can turn a few off.
That would
Okay, cool.
absolutely
Yeah,
be
just
fine.
that'd be
Well, and I'm guessing, because as I was driving up here today, I'm getting older and driving's a little more stressful than it used to be. But I needed to calm myself down and just like get my brain and center it. So I just did the, just throw it out there. I trust you, I trust you, I trust you, thank you. And then started, because I needed to, I just felt all scattered. So again, it just depends on where you're starting. It's a tool for many, many occasions.
I have a lot of additional material written and about things like trust and the now, and a lot of good material surrounding this that helps with the breath work. So if you guys have questions about those things as we go, we can also cover all that.
Okay. So are you gonna be doing this class as like a beginner every time? I know you just started, because I'm thinking, you know, what if everything you cover, because you want to cover with people that are new coming in, but then I feel like people that maybe will be consistently coming to you, we might need a little extra or something.
I've been wondering about that.
Okay.
I
was
don't
thinking, like,
I don't have the solution entirely, but what my initial thing was going to be was to invite people who have been here before, who are familiar with it, to begin just meditating with the breath work as I was teaching the beginner stuff, because it's good practice and it's, you know, kind of getting into it. Because eventually what I would like to have even just like a regular meditation group or something, because, you know, yes, the instruction is important, but
in the practice.
the meditation is almost more important, and doing it in a community is pretty powerful.
Right? Isn't that weird? Deja vu.
That means yes, do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
So let's begin. And as we first start this, I'm gonna have you guys close your eyes, and I will, because it's hard to remember all of this off the top of your head, I will read through this with some spacing in between as we go through our first time. So just begin, start meditating, and we'll go step by step. So, while meditating, breathe in and out as slowly as you can comfortably. Hold the words "thank you" in your mind while breathing in. Hold the words "I love you" in your mind while breathing out. Place your awareness on your heart space. Be a witness to everything that happens there as you breathe. of the goals of this breathwork is to be able to do it while performing other activities, whenever you happen to think about it during the day. And so I always like to end with opening my eyes and continuing it for a little bit, kind of grounding it into the more waking reality. All right, so this was a short one. This was about 5 minutes. How did that go for you guys, this little taste? How did you feel?
I'm very,
I'm so relaxed.
I know, I'm like, whoa, that was real good.
5 minutes.
Dude,
Wow.
That was so, like, I felt Reiki instantly
So
in my head and my
nice.
hands.
Oh.
I started seeing feathers, and then I saw buzzing all over me. I saw a big green orb right here. I know. It hasn't happened since Reiki. I know.
This is
It's like
really
all of a sudden.
exciting for her. Very exciting.
I know.
Yeah.
Completion came in for me. I kept hearing completion. 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 I don't know.
How did
Words
you
come in
feel?
a lot for me.
That's
So
cool.
Did
I
you feel
didn't
Reiki?
feel. How do I explain what I felt? I think my breath slowed down so much that it was almost, and then it was so quiet. I was just in it. I don't know how else to explain it. And then when I had to open my eyes, I'm like, what? Where am I right now?
Yeah.
That happens, yeah. That happens when you go
I've had
deep
that
into the
happen
feeling.
with long guided meditations, but to have this in a 5 minute period,
I
I'm like,
know.
that's all it was?
That's so nuts.
All right, Andrew, this is good stuff.
I did have a question.
Yes.
I did find myself breathing, because like in meditation they teach you to breathe from your tummy, right? You breathe in all the way and then you let go all the way. But then you were saying to breathe in slowly, and then I was getting confused. I was like holding my breath and then I had to release it. And I was like, okay, slow down. And then I made myself slow down. And I was like, okay.
So, great question. I think the key there is to focus more on the comfortability.
Okay.
So don't worry about the pace as much as, okay, just whatever is comfortable, I'll breathe as slowly, I'll breathe that slowly.
Okay.
Excellent. And and yeah, so for me, even in that short amount of time, I started a timer. I was checking in on you guys every now and then. I was looking at other stuff, but I have the practice of being able to do it with my eyes open. So in that short amount of time, this is the reason why I love this meditation and why I find it so helpful. My whole body feels so much better now. Like it's a physically enjoyable experience.
Yeah.
Endorphins.
Sure. I mean, but it's just getting in touch with the energy again, because it's not even just a good feeling in part of my body or a good feeling in my emotions. It's physically, feeling the energy in my body feels really good, and getting in touch with it.
Yeah, and I think for me it's really hard to get that deep because I mean I've been using music at home to meditate, just like it's been really hard for me to just like do it. So that was like super helpful, and for it to be so
We
quiet.
did 5 minutes.
I know.
Yeah.
It's that deep for 5.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's good.
Exciting.
I like it.
So I like to do that short one just so we can feel it, we can
Yeah.
talk about it. And then do you guys want to hear about step 2 and some of that theory? Not that we're ready to advance, but just so that you can kind of get a feeling for where it's headed and you can know what the goal is. So as we meditate longer in the second session, then you can go as far as you're able to.
Can I interrupt 1 quick second?
Absolutely,
I just need to use the
anytime.
restroom
I
and
know you're
don't-
gonna say that.
Go for it.
This is kind of a thing for me, especially after meditation of any kind.
Okay, so
You move
while
energy.
she's away,
Water's energy.
That's always.
I was just gonna say, part of why this works so well is you're away from your home
Yeah.
and you're
yeah.
not in it thinking, gosh, I need to do the dishes. And
Yeah.
so if you can somehow manage while you're at home to make an appointment with yourself of, this is a time out of time, a place out of place, and it's okay for me to sit and do it. Cause you came here for this reason,
Yeah.
do that at home.
Yeah, that's what I need to figure out how to do.
Yeah.
Like it's like I know I need to, and then I'm like,
so So while she's away, we can cover questions. We can cover other topics like again the now or perspectives or trust. If you know that's something that's challenging, is there anything off the top of your head that either of you that you feel would be helpful to talk about?
I think for me, because I do see things sometimes when I get into deep meditation, I just start seeing pictures, things. Is that something you would just let happen?
Yes.
So what's instead of me? And also another thing for me when I meditate, my head moves around, but then it scares me, so I stop it. So I'm wondering if I should just let that happen. Because it doesn't take me out of it, but sometimes it just gets a little wild.
So I'll say go with your intuition, because I mean I can't say. So there's this channeler on YouTube that I have no idea how legit he is. I don't watch his stuff. His name is Daniel Scranton, and whenever he channels, he's like going like this, and I'm just like, you know what? Maybe I just don't know.
You're like, okay, that's what you need to do.
So experiment. Sometimes allow it, sometimes flow into it, sometimes just watch it, be aware of it, see what happens. And then other times maybe be like, no, I feel like I'm gonna be still now, and see how the differences work for you.
Okay, I like that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was telling that my head moves around.
It's not a bad thing inherently, I'll say that.
There's a thing in massage called unwinding, and you just hold somebody's head and they'll just start. So if your body's unwinding and it is distracting to try to hold it still,
Yeah.
do what your body needs.
It is.
If
wants
it
to.
helps you to focus or if it offloads, so whatever the thing is, if it's distracting from your meditation,
And
just things to think about.
I will mention that in, you know, when I'm deep in meditation, most often I'm completely aware of everything around me, and like I don't lose awareness of my situation or what's around me or my body. And I will one of my things I notice, my right leg will tense up, and I'll lift my heel off the ground, and then I have to relax.
You're grounding.
And then if I don't pay attention for a bit, you know, that might happen again, and okay. And so you know.
One more thing. Just establish whatever it is that the thing you want to accomplish with the session that you're doing. I want to center myself, and then that's what you focus on. I need to, you know, what is the thing that I'm missing here? And you're seeking information. When I go into an encounter of any kind with people, what needs to happen in order for me to feel successful? And establish that. I do that with massage. This person today would feel successful if, and then you can do that with your meditation as well. And so if you need to offload and unwind, the movement seems like it would be super helpful. If you need to find the still point and balance, maybe that would not be helpful. So just according to your purpose, that's where you're going to find out.
I like that. I think it'd be good to experiment with, you know, more. We've been to a couple sound baths, and I notice when I trust my body and I let it do what it wants to do, even during Reiki, it just freaking starts moving around, like doing crazy shit. And I'm like, okay, well, this is what we're
I
doing.
feel like I can just go with the flow when that happens. I feel like 'cause
Yeah.
I get very.
I think if I don't, then my body's
I think I talked about that in the last thing that we were together. I don't know, the symbol things and moving, but they do that a lot with my hands.
So like
and
if
I
you try
don't-
to stop it,
Yeah, that's
then
no.
then it's like you're almost
Then it's
out of it.
weird. Yeah. So I just let it just move. My fingers do that a lot I'll twitch a
It's
lot.
like you're
Yeah.
sealing with
You can hear it.
belly dancing.
I used to
Zills.
belly dance. Yeah.
I taught it for a long time. It's one of my favorite things.
Maybe it's an energy outflow.
And I mean, this really comes around to each of us does things uniquely. Each of us processes things uniquely. And so that's why I want to encourage the intuitive side of this practice, and yeah, just explore and see what works for you. Okay, so let's talk about step 2 briefly, and I might cover an extra thing after that, but then we'll do a longer meditation. So the difference between step 1 and step 2 is with step 1, you're more focused on holding the words and being a witness, and it's kind of getting used to quieting your mind, getting you a little bit in touch with the feeling of the energy. Step 2 is letting the words fall away a little bit more and going deeper into the feeling of it.
So not having to necessarily keep holding the words to when we can eventually do the breath without them, and
Yeah.
it's still quiet.
And yeah, and even if you don't, and the words, they'll pop up every now and then, because even, me, the words will still come through every now and then, but it's not every time, and it's not always necessary. Step 2, while meditating, breathe in and out as slowly as you can comfortably. Place your awareness on your heart chakra in the center of your chest. Be a witness to everything that happens there as you breathe. All that's the same, and then notice the energy changing within your space of awareness. Focus on the feeling of the energy. Feel the energy of gratitude while breathing in. Feel the energy of love while breathing out. Know that in this process, you are adding your unique love and gratitude to the world, emitting waves of beautiful energy with each breath. Allow your mind to be as silent as you are able. With this practice, you can let the words fall away as you gain familiarity with the energy. Doing this further removes the mind from the process. With further practice, this allows the mind to be applied in other ways while maintaining active breath work, such as while walking in nature, while performing simple tasks, and during conversations. Repeat this practice until the words fall away completely, and you can maintain the breath work while your mind is focused elsewhere. And you can eventually do more complicated tasks. I actually haven't come across something that I'm like, oh, this breath work is too distracting, I need to stop while I'm doing this. It doesn't happen, because to me, the breath work pulls me into the now. And the more that you get familiar with it and the more your mind is not required, it becomes closer to an autonomic activity, like your normal breath, but you're flowing energy. So it's pretty good. Now, to kind of get the idea of what this is doing across a little bit better, I'll read a little bit more. And this is the section right after step 2 in the book, so hey, it works. The ocean of love. We exist in an unending field of collective energy. Energy permeates and constitutes every physical and non-physical object in our reality. A helpful way to think about this energy is like a massive ocean. We are immersed in this ocean. It is all around us and flows through us. Energy can exist in greater or lesser concentrations. For example, the energy concentration of a human is higher than the energy concentration of air. Energy can exist in more or less complex structures. For example, the energy structure of an animal is more complex than the energy structure of a rock. Everything that exists is continually emitting energy in some form or another. Step 2 is the practice of becoming aware of our own energy emissions. When we are aware, we have the opportunity to consciously emit helpful energy. There are 2 analogies that help me understand these concepts. A communal pool. This analogy helps us to see how we affect the ocean of love surrounding us. Imagine a backyard pool filled with water. Within this pool exists 100 release valves. Each of these valves alternately takes in water and pumps out water. The water taken in is just whatever is near the valve at the time. The water released may be pure clean water or polluted cloudy water. Imagine the pool starting as clean, and with most of the valves releasing polluted water. See how the pool is affected over time by the released water. These examples. Oh, I skipped a section. Imagine the pool as starting dirty and with most of the valves releasing clean water. See how the pool is affected over time by the released water. These examples show that while the pool itself may get cleaner or more dirty, it does not determine the behavior of the valves. The behavior of the valves is what determines the state of the pool. If we extend this example to mimic our reality, the valves begin as not being aware of themselves or what they do. In this state, they're releasing varied qualities of water that change rapidly. Often, the valve unconsciously releases more of what type of water it happened to take in. For example, us as humans, if someone is coming at us all angry, we might return with anger. So that valve, if it's taking in polluted water, if it's taking in polluted anger, it can return that because we're too unconscious to be able to choose. Often the valve is unconsciously releases more of whatever type of water it happened to take in. See how the pool is affected over time by this behavior. However, when a valve becomes conscious of itself and what it does, it can be aware of the quality of water being released. Over time, it notices the effects of the quality of water it releases, forming an awareness of it. This awareness creates the opportunity to consciously release water of whatever quality it chooses. See how the pool is affected over time if more and more valves become conscious and choose to release pure water. Second analogy is a speaker in the woods. This analogy helps us to see how other unconscious beings react to our energy. Imagine two speakers have been placed in the woods. Each speaker is surrounded by hundreds of miles of nature. Imagine one speaker is playing discordant noises that change suddenly and frequently. Sometimes loud static is played or painfully high pitches. Imagine this speaker is sitting in nature over time. How would the animals react to this speaker? How likely would they be to approach it? Imagine another speaker is playing a simple, calm set of melodies. The notes are peaceful and beautiful. The volume is never too loud, and the quality of the music is consistent. Imagine this speaker sitting in nature over time. How would the animals react to this speaker? How likely would they be to approach it? The effects the speakers have in this example are in many ways similar to the effects of the energy we emit. If we are emitting unpleasant energy, it will have an unpleasant effect on the beings around us. If we are emitting pleasant energy, it will have a pleasant effect on the beings around us.
So I witnessed that a lot, because I can remember a specific time that I was going through a hard time and I was like in it, it was here, like I can't focus on anything else, but everything around me was matching how I was feeling. It was just sad and dark. It was so odd. And then, once I was able to come up out of that, whatever it was, and then really just changing the energy that we have, and then watching what it does to everything around you and the people around you. I've seen people come in to my work just almost in a rage, just angry, whatever it might be. And I just sit there and I don't take anything on, and I just, I don't know how to explain it, but I'm really focusing on what I am emitting out. And then it's almost like at times you can watch people just, I don't have to be in this defense because I'm not matching that energy. I'm just I'm just here. So I've been able to see these things happening, and I love that you mentioned it because I could visualize that. And thank you for the analogies, by the way.
Yeah, did those analogies work well?
Yes.
Okay.
The speaker one was more effective for me because I was like seeing speakers.
Yeah, so was I. Yeah.
And it
That's
lets
really
you
helpful,
fill it
'cause
in.
Then we can really put that together with kind of what the message is that you're trying to get out by giving us something I think that we can see.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
perfect.
Visualize there. Yeah. I like that.
For the valve one, I know it's a little bit weird to relate them to consciousness and to people. Would it be better to, or more relatable if I just spoke to their behavior without tying it to being conscious or not? Like if I was just like, if the valves pumped out dirty water, if they pumped out clean, and kept it more in that
Yeah,
realm.
I think so,
Yeah.
because I feel like with the that's kind of how you were with the speaker.
Yeah.
You're like, here it is,
Yeah.
this is what it is, this is what it is, here's the effect, here's the effect.
Yeah, I can see.
So yeah, because I could envision the pool and I can see what you're saying. If it starts out dirty, you're pumping in and out, and then it eventually will get clear, vice versa.
Yep.
But yeah, I think just keeping it kind of like you did with the speakers. Yeah.
And this is, part of really what this is so important in my mind, because people talk about cleaning up pollution, cleaning up the oceans, cleaning up all the garbage everywhere. The first step, in my opinion, though, is to clean up our energetic pollution, because while we are constantly just slamming, bad vibes and unhelpful energy everywhere, we can't focus on, cleaning up the planet. And it's also a kind of, once we clean up our energy and once we're able to, again, emit the energy that we want to, that changes everything, and that changes our behavior, and then that's what will change our habits like pollution and other
I
stuff.
enjoyed it because for me it feels more not in control, but instead of because I see so many people so chaotic and focused about what's going on, especially in the job that I'm in. So I hear all of these stories, but I just lost my train of thought there. I don't know, it's gone. That was it, guys.
That's
Well, I was
okay.
gonna say,
It
it's
happens.
like it's like you want to clean the world and you want to save the whales and you want to do those things. It's like so overwhelming,
When you can focus
and then
just
people
on
think, well, I can't do anything about it. It's just the way it is.
Yes.
But like what you're
Thank
saying
you.
is,
There we
if
go.
if you clean up your energy first, like at least that's something you know you can do, and then that causes a ripple effect.
Yeah, I've
Yes,
seen it.
and it is the most important thing to clean up because it has the largest impact. There is nothing that any of us individually can do that will be more beneficial to cleaning things up than cleaning up our energy and what we emit.
Well, what it's a couple levels we were talking on the way here. We could each individually be one of those spigots. And
Yes.
if we are pumping in clean energy, we add to the cleaning of the pool. If we are pumping toxic, unhelpful, we are contributing to the unhelpfulness of the pool.
That's the goal of the analogy. Good to know that that didn't completely come across in the writing. That section needs to be adjusted, but yes.
And the speakers in the woods, I have such a vivid imagination. It was full cartoon color, and when the speakers were consistent in volume and material versus intermittent blasting, quiet, and at different intervals, that's chaos, and no animal would come near that speaker because it's unpredictable, scary, off-putting, unsettling. Whereas the consistent noise that's always about the same volume within parameters, it's lulling, that would be approachable.
And I'll tell you guys that you can directly notice this with any pets that you might have. In my house, all the pets periodically demand attention from me in more more intense ways than anyone else. So my wife makes jokes about it because there's one cat that we have that's a rescue cat, and also we're watching over my mother-in-law's dog right now. And the other day, and her dog, my mother-in-law's dog, loves me special. And so she'll come and woozle up to me, and then the cat that we rescued, my wife rescued the cat, and I initially was hesitant towards it. But over time, as I went down my path and as I learned and grew, he has developed a special attachment to me, and to where just the other day, and again, this was a cat that was from a different state, was in a hoarding situation, was picked up, neutered, and put back because he was determined to be unadoptable because he was a black cat. And then,
People are so silly.
and so he had a hard life outside with not enough food. We brought him up to our house. He was very skittish, but he's the most intelligent cat we know, and he just analyzes everything. He was laying on my chest for the first time the other day, just demanded to come up while I was laying down, laid across my chest, and fell asleep. And to the point to where he, stretched out his paw, and we got pictures of it. But I mean, that was the first time that had ever happened, and the first person he had ever done that with. So I think if
you're a
you
thermostat
Yeah.
versus a thermometer.
if you
Thermometer reads the room, the thermostat determines the temperature.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
But I even before that, a while ago, I started to notice the effects on animals. So if you practice this, if you continue to practice this, you may notice it show up in that way. Because like that calm speaker, they're like, all right, I'll come over.
My dog I practiced Reiki on because I was curious and kind of some of the energy work, and it's outstanding, his reaction. So it's really nice because I was able to work on him and then see how his body reacts to it, because he'll fall asleep. It'll be instantaneously. I'll start working with him, usually I'll ask him in just my own mind. I'm like, okay, we're gonna do some Reiki. Sometimes he'll just come up and just like, yes, all up around.
Have you ever done it like surreptitiously?
Yes, and
Ah.
he usually
Try it.
twitch. I don't think I've done it just with it, like with his spectrum.
It's funny. I think we're all Reiki practitioners in here.
Yeah.
Because she is too.
Oh, nice.
Well, it's
Anyways.
group.
Okay, so any other questions about step 2 or kind of the idea that we're going for? I don't want to change that. No. Undo.
Well, just, back to the idea of controlling what you emit or what your situation is, and because when I'm having a hard day, I try not to leak. Okay, I can have a hard time without making anyone else
Yeah.
have a hard time, but also there are certain times where I am trying to leak, and that's, in chaos, leak and chill or whatever. And again, just trying to be more mindful, purposeful. But so what my internal pool is doing and the sources where it's coming from versus my contribution as a spigot to the communal pool, it just, your mind can go so many places in different ways to, just really gets you thinking. I don't even have the words for it all because it's just all pictures up there right yet. But
Okay, well, I think we should do our longer meditation session. And then after that, we'll open it up to more, questions and conversation for whatever comes out of that, right? Okay. So.
I know.
you know what?
Oop,
Gosh.
good catch.
Yeah, no.
Good hands.
I already mentioned that Course in Miracles. That's a book, right?
Yes.
This is the 4th time I've heard that in the last 3 days. Course
It-
in Miracles, Course in Miracles. I'm like, am I supposed to read this book?
It's an interesting book.
Yeah.
It is very dense.
I heard that. That's why I haven't.
So it's almost impossible to find an audiobook version. Just to give you an example, it's almost impossible to find an audiobook version. I did find a version, and it's just a lady reading it because she
Oh.
took it upon herself to do it. It's done well.
Is it?
It's 40 hours long.
No. Is there like a Cliff Notes book?
There are. So if you're interested, you might be able to find something like that, and it is good material,
Yeah.
but it's hard to get through.
It's old too, right? Is it older?
Not super old. I believe it was oldest in like the 60s or something.
Okay. It's just weird. I keep hearing it. I guess like a foundational book.
It helped me, but I never made it all the way through.
Yeah, I don't think it doesn't sound like something I would be able to. Maybe like in chunks.
I feel like a lot of the more modern books are more helpful because everything that's more recent is stuff that people have, often read all those older books, and then they have their own experience, and then they form a more cohesive and streamlined, telling.
Yeah.
So
I think also like podcasts are like a lot more informative for me. So you can find podcasts on anything, any kind of subject you want to do, and that's where I'm getting a lot of information from.
they're free. That's good. I get a lot of my information from meditating, but also I'm led to various videos on YouTube. And so I've shared some of the channels that show up for me with you.
I started following the something that ends with 555 at the end of it. You mentioned it somewhere.
Lady of the Forest 444.
Maybe I'll have to look because there was something I started watching a video and I was like, oh my goodness.
Out of This World is also another great
That's
channel.
what it is. I think it's Out of This World, but then
it might be
there's
5-5.
some numbers at the end.
Yeah.
Is it just like people talking about them?
So we could talk about it at the end because I don't want to take too much time now. But Out of This World is a YouTube channel where this lady, her name is Cindy, she uses a pendulum to channel messages, and she's very good at it.
She's the lady of the forest too. Yeah.
Yes, she's the same lady. What's fascinating about that channel is they hold space for whatever light beings from the other side that want to come through and give a message. And it's not a specific one. It's different ones every time. It's almost like a talk show in a way, with guests. And so they started off with a bunch of really cool information, and then they got into this Earth's history segment with even cooler information. And then
the Jesus one now, which is very fascinating for me.
It is, yeah.
I'm
They're
only
all
about 10,
good.
15 minutes in, I'm like, oh my gosh, I know I was supposed to watch this one.
I would highly recommend everything on that channel. It is so...
I can send it to you because I just subscribed to it.
It's so helpful. That going through the material on that channel is something that I feel is extremely helpful for perspective.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that allows me to go, oh, if I view this from a different angle, if I view this from the soul level or from, whatever, then it completely changes everything and it changes how I feel about the situation.
Right.
And the information in that channel it feels like the most true, structure of how things work that I've ever come across.
Okay.
And it's like nothing you've ever heard
Yeah,
before.
when she started channeling whatever that was, because I again only got a blip of it when she did start channeling it. I felt something.
Well, I think that's
was
how you
feeling
know.
things, and I'm going okay. And then when she really, I can't explain it, but I knew that I needed to watch more later.
Okay.
Okay, so let's do
All right.
a deeper meditation. And just like last time, I will, as we start, I'll read a few lines from step 2 just to help get you guys there. But don't worry if you're still on step 1. We've only had 5 minutes of practice. I don't expect you to be past it. So we'll just ease into it and we'll go for longer. All right, go ahead and close your eyes and begin. While meditating, breathe in and out as slowly as you can comfortably. Place your awareness on the center of your chest. Be a witness to everything that happens there as you breathe. Notice the energy changing within your space of awareness. Focus on the feeling of that energy. Feel the energy of gratitude while breathing in. Feel the energy of love while breathing out. Know that in this process, you are adding your unique love and gratitude to the world, emitting waves of beautiful energy with each breath. Okay, now start to open your eyes, but continue doing the breath work as you open your eyes until you feel you're ready to stop. Come back to yourself as slowly as you need. Ground the practice into being here. So that was about 16 minutes.
Wow. Well, 16 minutes?
Yeah.
What the heck? Okay. Did it feel longer? No. I mean, I knew it was going to be longer, so I was expecting that, but it didn't seem. No. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to talk for a little bit.
It's
It's
okay.
going to take me a minute.
Take your time. And that, again, that happens quite a bit. If you go deep into this, I have a balcony I like to sit on when I do this breath work that's right next to a beautiful tree. And I can go pretty deep. And there's one time when my mom called me as I was meditating, and I'm just like, hang on. Looking back. Which, you know, it doesn't normally happen, but it did that.
This was very deep for me. Like, I almost felt like I was somewhere else.
You were,
I call it going far. I'm not here,
I don't know.
you, to me, it's like a homecoming. It's going to be more of yourself. That feeling, that good feeling, that love in there that's your soul.
I felt that a lot more. I felt a lot happening on my left side from like the top part of my, like the pressure point in your neck. That was kind of going all the way down which was interesting. That was because I was trying to really make sure I paid attention to the body, besides what my normal stuff was doing.
Yeah.
And then when I went so deep, I felt so just at peace and like the best place I was ever at my entire life, and nothing was happening.
It feels so good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How about you? I forgot to breathe.
It happens.
Cause
I've done that.
yeah, I was pretty relaxed, and then I was like,
I've done that.
Is that what the cough was?
She's like, I'm stop breathing. I need some air.
it was just weird because then I was like, oh god. And then yeah, but I went
That's a
right
good
back into
thing.
it. Yeah, as
Yeah.
soon as I like got back, I coughed and I was like, okay, back into
Fantastic.
it. I was very.
So as you guys are relaxing and coming back, we have about 20 minutes left. There's 2 more things I'd like to read, and then I'd like to open it up to whatever you guys have questions or anything else. So this covers the big picture of why to do this, because we've talked about the small picture. It can benefit your own life, it can make you feel good, it can help resolve conflict situations, it'll make all of your relationships better. There's many benefits, but there's a bigger picture too. So I mentioned that we are immersed in an ocean of love. So this is a continuation of that thought. Our unique love. Everything we've ever done has built to this moment right now. All of our experiences have given us uniqueness. This uniqueness affects our love energy. The love we give is special. There is no other love in all that is like our own love. This means it is always valuable beyond estimation to give love. Even if we are always surrounded by an ocean of love, which we are, the love we add is unlike any other. Our unique love can only come through us. The more we provide, the more there is in this existence. The love we give connects us with anything it touches. And the last bit of the puzzle, well, the big picture, is building the tsunami of love. The Earth is a gigantic love energy generator. As we wake up each morning and choose to focus on love, we begin releasing love energy into the environment around us. As we do, we contribute to a rolling wave of love energy that circles the globe. A great way to think about this is a stadium full of people doing the wave. No individual is moving, but as each person stands at the right time to contribute, the wave can be seen traveling continuously around in circles. Every moment that we are focusing on love, thinking thoughts of love, or acting from love, we are contributing to this wave. Everything we contribute matters, as it makes it easier for others to begin to see the light and love for themselves. As more and more people become spiritually awake and aware, the wave of love energy will grow at an exponential rate. Through this process, the wave will grow into a tsunami of love. This tsunami of love will flow through our entire universe and across all that is. This will change existence in magical ways that we can't even begin to imagine yet. The core of the I Am Infinite Love breathwork practice is learning to focus on love and gratitude at a vibrational or energetic level. This can help us to not get lost in our minds as we face the deluge of stimulus coming at us every day. As you practice this breathwork tool, you will find it easier to stay present in the now and to stay focused on love for longer portions of the day. I didn't pick the name, I Am Infinite Love. I just understood that's what it was called. It wasn't until later that I understood why that name was chosen despite its clunkiness. As we think of the practice by its very name, it reminds us of who we are at the deepest level. Each one of us was born from source energy, and we are extensions of that energy. Source is unconditional and unlimited love. As extensions of that energy, we also consist of unconditional and unlimited love.
Thank you, Andrew. That was
We have about 18 minutes left. Do you guys have any questions? We can cover the step 3 if you don't have any questions, which is exploring new breaths.
I think during the second meditation I did, breath thing, I had a hard time doing feeling it, so I just went back to the words.
Yes.
And then
Perfect.
Because I tried to, and then I was like, what am I? And then I started thinking of all these weird things. So then I was like, no, we're not doing that. So I went back to the words to step 1. So I did have to do that.
So
But it was helpful.
I don't want you to think of that as a failing in any sort of way,
Yeah.
because you just started.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show how effective that step 1 is at quieting the mind and getting into it. So that was absolutely perfect. Well done.
Okay, cool. And it was easier for me to breathe this time. Except, well, 2 weeks ago, I'm still
I found that a lot, like gasp, because I just stopped. I did it this time.
Yes, that's exactly what happened to me.
Yeah,
I was
just
like,
all of a sudden you realize you're not breathing.
Yeah.
You're just so deep. You're like, okay, we gotta still live on the earth.
I'm still in my body.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, the
A little
deal-
too far.
The deal with that is, your breath is an autonomic function. You don't have to think about it to make it happen.
Yeah.
So you're taking it off automatic, assuming control of it, changing it, and your body's like, wait a minute, you're not in charge of breathing. What are you doing?
Yeah.
So it's like dysregulated at first, but then as you get into the meditation, it goes back to autonomic. And that's when you're really in the flow of it. So you're messing with the programming, basically.
Yeah.
Oh.
Teaching it.
I think one of the sound baths I went to was the very first time that I just stopped breathing. I don't know for how long enough that I gasped, but
So another interesting thing to do if you get into that situation is, for me, I'll just speak to my own experience. Whenever I start to have struggles with that, because every now and then I'll notice, oh, I'm not breathing enough. Then I notice, oh, I'm grabbing on too hard. It's like I'm holding the control of my breath, and I'm holding it too hard. And it really is, the autonomic system, it will take care of itself. So you can be like, oh, I don't need to do that. And so the breath is, and that situation is actually one jumping off point that sometimes I use to take my hands off the wheel as far as my body is concerned. And so you can really be like, okay, well, I'm not my body, so okay, I can let go of that. That's fine. And then okay, I don't need to control my breath. Okay, I can let go of that. That's fine. And you can consciously become aware of and let go of any other system that you're holding on to, like my leg tensing up. Oh, I'm holding on to that too tight. Okay, I can let go. And that can be a really interesting experience as well.
Yeah, that it describes it exactly. Like holding on there. Okay, no, calm down.
Yeah, because when you get in the flow, somehow it all just kind of works itself out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting how your body just starts like tensing up. Okay, it's fine. We're here.
Okay.
Yeah, we're safe.
it's interesting to me. Do you have an idea of what might be different with meditation breath work and not the thank you and I love you? What would you consider the difference between someone that would be meditating with their regular breath and one that has this conscious thought for the feeling? Do you think there's going to be much of a, there is a difference, I feel it, but.
To me, it's a difference of, how to explain it?
Intention?
Because it feels different to me.
It's a difference of, like, I want to say flavor, but that's not the right word. Because if you're just focusing on the breath, you aren't feeling for anything beyond it specifically. You're feeling for the feeling of the breath and what that's doing, but you're not going further.
Yeah, exactly.
And so with this, you're trying to go a little bit further and going, okay, well, because we are all energy. And so it's like, okay, well, what's behind the breath? So it's hard to describe, but that's what I would say for now.
Okay. Yeah, because I noticed such a difference, and I don't know, because I've never focused so much on, because this is where all my stuff is, my heart. That's always been for me. So being able to really fully learn how to meditate and kind of go in there, that's kind of what I felt. So the longest meditation, it's almost like I was tucked inside my heart, because it was just so quiet and beautiful.
Now, I do want to open this up to say that this breathwork practice is not inherently tied to the heart. You can place your awareness anywhere while doing this. If you need to boost your chakras, you can place your awareness on each individual chakra and do the thanks love breath to the chakra, and it will have an amazing effect. There's actually a whole meditation that's on the website in the advanced information section that covers some of that. But for, let's say, if you have a headache, you can place your awareness in your head region and use the breath. For whatever thing you might want to tune into or help or send love to, I would always recommend beginning with your heart. It's like starting the engine, and then you can place your awareness elsewhere and let it flow to wherever you want to. And that's also, again, that's when you can get into, people that you're thankful for and want to send love to, or things, or whatever. That also is a very similar thing.
Where you're directing that energy.
And it's, you're doing the same breath,
Yeah.
but the only difference is where you're placing your awareness while you do it. So it's much more freeform than the instructions make it sound.
Right. Well,
Okay.
we have like that starting point, like that.
Yes.
Something to follow, but then it doesn't mean you have to.
It gets the engine going, for
Yeah.
sure. Okay, real quick, I do want to cover step 3 so that you guys feel comfortable with exploring. So step 3 says, while meditating, breathe in and out as slowly as you can comfortably. It's familiar at this point, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Place your awareness on your heart chakra in the center of your chest. Be a witness to everything that happens there as you breathe. You can shorten the prompts as needed, for example, to thanks and love. So when I do the breath work, if I'm using the words, I'll oftentimes use the shortened version. I won't, hold I love you. It'll just be love, thanks, love. Begin to open your intuition to other breath phrases and vibrations. As you do, repeat steps 1 and 2 for each new word vibration pairing to learn what their energy feels like. So you begin by holding the words in your mind and doing the breath, and then you feel the energy, and then you go more into the energy and let the words fall away for any new breath that you find. Thanks love is the breath of unconditional love. Be give is the breath of giving. Thanks be is the breath of rejuvenation. Sorry forgive, the breath of cleansing. Forgive love. I don't think I've titled that one yet. And be welcome is the breath of non-resistance.
Which one's rejuvenation?
Thanks be. So for example, with thanks be, just to give an example, because this one's different than thanks love. With thanks love, it feels like, you're emitting love. With thanks be, it's only changing the end, but you're focusing on, with be, you're focusing on just existing. You don't have to do anything. You just thank you, take it all in, and I'm just gonna sit here and exist. And I'm just gonna feel myself, and I'm just gonna be here. And that's all I'm gonna do. And it is so relaxed, so rejuvenating. That's why it's the breath of rejuvenation, but it helps recover so much. And be welcome, for example, the breath of non-resistance. I got this one, and you can get different breaths by meditating on different things or with different things. Be welcome, I learned from meditating with trees.
We
And
love trees.
and so to me, that one's the breath of non-resistance, because you see a tree and it doesn't really care what's going on. It doesn't really care what's crawling on it. It doesn't really care what's nesting in it. It's being, and it's welcoming everything into its presence and space with it. And even if people chop it down and use its wood for a
Carve
resource,
into it.
carve into it, no matter what happens, it just focuses on, I'm doing my thing, I'm just gonna be here, and I'm gonna welcome whatever comes into my experience. And so you can really, if you're noticing, oh, I'm resisting this change, I'm resisting whatever is happening in whatever way, you can breathe into this.
And be like a tree.
Yep, and then it'll help to release that resistance. So all of these extra breaths, for me, I don't know, it might be different for everyone, but for me, I use them less and for specific situations. And a lot of each of these also came in and helped me with different part of my journey, helped me to process something, helped me to learn or accept something.
Meditation using one of these, is that what you mean?
Was that?
So when you're meditating and using one of these, so that helped you work through some things, is that what you're saying? When
Yeah.
You got into those different
So, yep.
domains?
So for example, the sorry forgive, that really helped me to forgive myself. And that's when I learned it, was when I actually learned it because I was trying to figure out how to water my internal garden.
Oh, I love that.
I was giving it lots of sun with the Be Give and other stuff. So I was trying to figure out how to water it. I'm like, it's too dry. And so that's actually how that came through. But it helped me to really process a lot of the feelings that I had and to actually fully forgive myself. So yeah. So as you guys explore, and if you open your intuition, you may come across other breaths that aren't on this list, and they may help you process through what you're going through. So definitely be open to that. Okay, let's see, 5 minutes left. Any last questions?
Just that cleansing rain thing that you were mentioning. I live down in Oregon in a valley. And we get, there's farmers in the fall after the crops get harvested. They till all the dirt in the entire valley, and the sky gets gray with, it's literally August is dirt gray sky down in the valley. The first rain that comes after summer, not only does it water the earth, but it cleans the air. And
I
so
could
that,
just picture that.
yeah, and the sky becomes blue again, and you can see farther distance. So the cleansing rain doesn't just feed the earth, it
Cleans the air.
is, yeah, clarifying as well.
Oh, I can imagine that.
I didn't know that. That's cool. It's good visual too.
Yeah, the valley is very illustrated for me.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Just to clarify, so the thanks love was unconditional. The be and give, did you have?
Giving?
Let me see what I have written down just to make sure I'm
Yeah,
not
because
getting
I
it
didn't
wrong.
start rating when you first said it, and I thought, oh, those were good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have so far, thanks love, the breath of unconditional love. Be give, the breath of giving. Thanks be, the breath of recovery is what I wrote.
Oh. I ended up with rejuvenation, so.
I think that's what I said originally.
Okay.
That's why I wanted to read it.
Recovery.
Sorry forgive, the breath of cleansing. Oh yeah, forgive love, the breath of forgiveness. That one's really good for using if you feel someone has like if you're really feeling agitated towards someone, you know, if someone did something to you or whatever slighted you. And if you're wanting to forgive them, this is an excellent breath to help out with that.
I think I need to
Ooh, I
work
like that
on
one.
that
Of
one.
self and others.
Yeah.
Forgiveness of self and others.
Well, and sorry forgive is also for the self as well, pretty big. So it's funny because I learned those two on the same day, and I was breathing sorry forgive, and then I reached a point and I'm like, I don't need to say I'm sorry anymore. And then that's when it transformed into forgive love.
That's amazing. Oh,
So-
that's so neat. I love that.
Remember that movie from the 70s? Love is never having to say you're sorry.
Oh, yes.
The breath, you don't have to say you're sorry anymore.
And then,
You and Ryan O'Neal.
of course, just to read the last one, the be welcome is the breath of non-resistance is what I have.
Non-resistance.
Non-resistance. And then the I ams, I would strongly recommend you explore yourself. It doesn't really work to describe them.
Yeah.
Not as well. They're very personal.
Yeah.
And then the combos at the bottom. Don't forget, you can combine these, and they're stronger. Once you get used to the individual breaths, you can mix them together. So thanks be give love, or I am infinite love, which has some combinations of the I ams. And there's more too, like you can say prayers. So you can have, once you've got the breath going and you don't have to think about it specifically, you can continue the breath while you say a prayer or a thanks or a specific thing over the top of it. There's a lot you can do. So there's more.
We were talking about the sun one, be and give. The be is just the existing and the give is emitting. So it was just kind of like, I don't know, the sun burns bright and you just are, and then you send it out.
And you let it go out. Yeah. And I'm excited for the section where I describe more of these breaths, because I have the one that I did the most on so far is be give. So here's my start, and then here's lessons I've learned even. And so, for example, lessons I've learned, when I use the be give breath, I can feel the reality of this understanding, which is giving does not deplete me in any way. Once you get deep into it, all I'm doing is existing and giving, and it feels great. If giving depleted me, I would feel worse over time, since I'm not focusing on receiving. However, this is a very relaxed, enjoyable, and sustainable breath, meaning that while I exist, I can always give without being depleted. This understanding alleviates some fear of scarcity. If I can't be depleted through giving, I am less afraid to give when opportunities arise.
Depends on where the giving is coming from. If you're a channel for source, then there is no end. If
We're all
in that
channel for source.
dysfunctional way, I used to give when I was younger from myself. That's depleting. But if you give from the universal pool, there is no depletion.
But see, you were giving from your illusion of separation. And so that wasn't really you. So
It was
you
deeply
you
diluted,
can
that's
never
the
be
word.
depleted.
Yeah.
So,
I like that a lot.
all right. Well, thank you guys for joining. I don't want to hold Terrence up. We are
Oh, yeah,
at
Terrence
8
is
o'clock.
ready to go home, go to bed maybe?